absolutely destroying your anxiety. And I'm not messing around. I ain't messing around at all. In this video, there is going to be subtle, relaxing music on top of my absolutely amazing whispering, guys. So, in tonight's video, I really want to have no mercy on this anxiety, okay? Which might be a backwards point of view, because maybe we're supposed to accept it, but we're gonna destroy it, okay? So, with that being said, we are in a nice new filming location, which is literally just my desk in the corner, but I felt like sitting, and it's kind of nice, so, not that anybody asked, but there you go. So, with that being said, I want you to take a moment to listen to the sounds. Okay, so just listen to the audio that we have layered on here. Okay. Just take a moment. 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 And I want you to think about, on average, what makes you anxious. What is it, you know? Is it something that, you know, is future-based, right? A lot of the times it's future-based. Sometimes maybe it's us thinking of something that caused us anxiety in the past, right? Or maybe we just have this weird sense of feeling anxious right now, right? We can't really pinpoint what's going on, what the heck is going on there. So look, let's take it at each level. So let's start with the past, right? So if you're anxious, let's just be honest. I don't know if, and you can tell me if I'm wrong here, is it worth it to be anxious about the past? It's over, right? Like, genuinely, it is a memory. It is but something that exists only in your mind. And it's weird because the moment you think about that thing, it basically exists now. If you were to cease thinking about it, it would not be there. It would literally hold zero power, because it wouldn't exist. It happened, but it doesn't really exist unless you bring it into fruition. So let go of that past, whatever it is, and don't feel attached to it. A lot of the times we follow this fallacy that because it has been or because it happened, it always will be. That is not the case. Just because something happened in the past does not mean it has to happen again in the future. That does not define anything, okay? So, my computer screen went off. I don't think it was providing much light anyways. So, now we move to the present. Now, sometimes we do just have this overwhelming sense of anxiety, and maybe we don't even know why. And the best advice I can give here is it just depends on your time of day, right? If it's sunny around you, get some sunlight. Go for a little walk, right? Clear your head, get in nature, right? Have a meal if you're hungry, or don't if you're full. If it's nighttime and you're exhausted, head to bed. A good night's rest will do a lot of good, trust me. And also realize that this is okay, right? This is not, you know, in our world as of now, it seems very, you know, everybody wants to fix everything, right? And what we don't realize is a lot of things that people are trying to fix are part of the human experience, right? So it is not necessarily the case that, not that I would argue, I love feeling sad, I love feeling angry, I love feeling all these negative emotions, but realize you can't, you shouldn't try to suppress the human experience. You need the full range. You need So it's not about making it feel good 24/7. Then again, I'm not saying we love our anxiety or anything, but it's just important to realize that to almost have this moment of calmness in your anxiety where you say, well, to have good days, I need to have bad days. To have bad days, I need to have good days, right? It's just this back and forth where you realize, okay, if I want to have one, I must have the other. I must have the opposite, the opposite, the opposite. Now, let's move to the future. Now, this is where most people's anxiety lives, and it makes sense because our brains are quite powerful, and we can imagine things, and we can envision, we can see it, we can hear it, taste it, smell it, maybe, right? I don't know what what vision that is, but you got all the senses there. And the problem with this is we are often envisioning a future of something that we do not want. Now, the mind can literally, as far as I have experienced, envision whatever you want. Whatever you want. So do not use a tool of great blessing for that, right? For thinking of things that will make you anxious. Because the more I go through life, the more I realize you really just gotta be your own friend, man. Like, there's a voice up there, right? There's something, and it's either you or it's, whatever that thing is, right? You gotta get it to work for you, and you'd think you'd have your own best interest in mind, but I don't know what it is. And again, maybe it is just a survival instinct, right? Like, you have to think through what could go wrong, and yes, that stuff's important, but there is no point bogging yourself down with all this stress, because the truth is, it's gonna pass. Even if, okay, I hate to go here, but let's entertain it. Let's entertain that the worst possible scenario happens. You're here, right? So, as far as I know, you've made it through every single thing you've been through. Every single thing. So, worst case scenario, that does happen. It will pass. No matter how hard that thing is, it literally will pass. And I can think of countless examples in my life where I spent so much time worrying, and then the moment it was over, it was gone. I forgot about it. Which is why I love that quote about, if it's not going to matter in like a week, a month, it might be longer, right? If it's not going to matter in a month or a year, how about if it's not going to matter in like a day, right? Sometimes, like, extrapolate that, shrink it, do whatever you need to do with it, right? So, just allow that to kind of melt that anxiety away, that, worst case scenario, you will be fine. You will be fine. And it's so hard to see that, right? It's so hard to see it when you're in it. And it just makes sense, right? What is that thing about, no one's probably heard this. No, I was gonna say some kind of analogy for it, but I don't even think I have it. But I'm sure there's an analogy for that, right? That when you're in it, it's very hard to see, right? You're blinded by your own blind spots, in a sense. And there is a version of you that is out of that and can look back and be like, wow, that was, a rough time. I grew there, something happened, right? So allow this, pesky anxiety of the future. Actually, for a moment, we will be grateful, right? Why don't we just thank it and be like, well, the only reason you're anxious, and let's put it like this, because there might be this internal dialogue of like, no, I don't want to be anxious, and then you're talking to your mind maybe, and it's just like, oh, like when I say, oh, you have to be your own friend, right? And it's just this internal dialogue of like, why is that not the case? Well, I'm gathering my thoughts. Don't worry, guys. I had a let's just take a moment to acknowledge that anxiety and thank it. That's where I was headed with that point, guys, right? Because if you're having that internal dialogue, you might be stirring up more anxiety because you're saying I shouldn't be anxious, and it stirs up. So take a moment to thank, to appreciate the anxiety, because let's put it this way. Why are you anxious? Most of the time, the answer comes from love, but you don't actually realize it, right? Meaning, why am I nervous about this promotion? Why am I nervous about this presentation? Why am I nervous about looking good in front of these people? Why am I nervous about X, Y, and Z? It is because you want the best for yourself, and you're worried that if it goes wrong, you won't get the best for yourself. So really, anxiety is stemming from a pretty nice place. It's just kind of got the wrong intent, right? Or no, not the wrong intent. It's weird because when you think about the reason you have it, it's almost like, okay, maybe that's kind of nice, right? Maybe it's not even necessarily the worst thing, right? If you're nervous about something, it shows that you care, right? It shows that you care. So just kind of change your relationship with this anxiety and realize, okay, it is part of the human experience, but also it wants what's best for me, right? I am only anxious because I want what's best, and if that doesn't happen, that is the reason to be anxious, right? That's why we're anxious. We want an outcome. We're worried it won't happen the way we want it to, and therefore we are anxious. So change that relationship and thank it or appreciate it, okay? Don't be so aggressive with it, because when you're angry at anxiety, you get more anxiety. When you're anxious about anxiety, you get more anxiety, right? So we have to stop fist fighting this thing, and we gotta start just bear hugging that thing, and then it's gonna be like, oh, this is kind of nice, you know? I kind of like this. And you know, something I heard a YouTuber that I watched talk about is, you know, you can't, maybe this is an opposite point about, you know, not even acknowledging its existence, right? Not even acknowledging that it's there, in the sense that he said someone he knew said that they had panic attacks, right? But they associated so heavily with it. They said they were the type of person to have panic attacks, and that's who they were. And his response to that was basically that, you know, that is a story, in a sense, that is being reinforced every single time, right? So when you tell yourself, okay, I'm this type of person, I have this type of thing, and it happens at this event every time, or whatever, that is a constant reinforcement of the thing over and over and over again, and you psych yourself out, you freak yourself out, you make yourself have the problem, right? And I have things in my life exactly like this, where I almost manifest the problem by creating it in my own mind first, right? Maybe you're not nervous for something, you think about being nervous for something, and therefore you're nervous for something. Funny how that works, right? It's the thinking about the nervousness that makes you nervous. Maybe it's, and let's be real, would a lot of us be anxious if we weren't thinking so much? Quite hard to be anxious in the present moment, right? So maybe at the end we'll do a little anchor to the present moment, because it's quite nice there, right? But the last thing that I want to hit here is that, you know, in life, a lot of the times, no, all the time, I was going to go down another lane, but I'll go down here. You only have the things you can control and the things you can't control. If it is something, and I'm sure you've heard this before, that you cannot control, congratulations. Let your anxiety release. Let yourself just calm calm down, because, my friend, you can't do anything about it. And that should take all the anxiety away. If you can't do anything about it, no point. No point. Why just send all that energy to something that can't be controlled? Nothing will change. Nothing will change. And there should be solace found in that, I think. But as for, what you can control, there's even more good news. You can control it, which once again means the anxiety can go away. Because if you can have faith in yourself to do the thing, because you can control it, then the anxiety goes away. Because you can do the thing. You have the control over the thing, right? So just realize that the realities that you're imagining that you are anxious about are not real. They are not real. They are merely projections of what could be real. They don't have to be true. They don't have to be. But you're associating with them so heavily that truth is they're probably going to manifest, right? And this isn't some woo-woo thing. This is just like, if I start thinking I'm nervous, I get nervous. But it's because I'm in my own head about being nervous. I am in real time taking something that was an inner dialogue, and it is showing on my outer self. It is manifesting outside myself, right? So that is, I think, the end of my little calming the anxiety rant. We went from the past, we eradicated the anxiety, we moved to the present, we eradicated the anxiety, and we moved to the future and eradicated the anxiety, hopefully. And then we talked about what we can control and what we cannot control. And now what I want to leave you with is a little grounding in the present moment. And this is just going to be an impromptu, meditation, if you will. But just take a moment to take a deep breath, actually, I'm so serious right now. Please take a deep breath. We don't do it often. I don't do it often. I don't meditate. I've wanted to for so long. I don't take many deep breaths. I just let the body do it. But let's, for 1 or 2 or 3 breaths, actually manually do it, right? Because it's not a burden. It's actually quite nice. So let's go 2 more. Switch back to your manual or your automatic breathing if you'd like. But what we should be noticing when we do those breaths is that you, in that moment, can completely anchor to the breath, and you can let go of a thought. Now, not for long, right? Because how long can one really stop thinking? Who knows? I don't know. But anchor to that breath and just let the thoughts calm down. Something that has helped me is giving yourself permission to stop thinking. A lot of the times I've noticed I want to think, right? Or maybe honestly, I don't even know if I want to think, but I don't really feel like I have the option. Something that's been helping me a little bit with sleep is there's no wind down for me usually. There is in a sense, but it's kind of just do your thing until it's bedtime and then hop in bed, right? And what happens is I'm just taking everything in my day. I'm taking what I just did for the last 10, 15 minutes before bed, and I'm just hopping into bed with it, and I'm thinking my way to sleep. And that works, but what works better is just saying, I don't have to think right now. I can just not, right? And that's why I think sleep is so feels so nice, right? Is what, like, as you're in that in your bed falling asleep, you kind of have that like anxiety go away in a sense of like you're about to go to sleep, right? You're about to, you can relax now. The day is over, right? So whatever happened that day, it's done. Whatever's gonna happen tomorrow, it's gonna happen. But like right now, I'm just gonna sleep, right? So it's kind of the same thing here, where just you can just give yourself permission to say, okay, I don't have to be thinking right now. I don't have to be thinking, and just be in the present moment, because that is literally all that's here. When you're anxious, you have to understand that literally doesn't exist. It's not real. You're here, right? You're sitting in a room being worried about something that isn't even real, right? It might be real in the future, but it is not real now. How absurd is that? If I told you that you had the option of suffering twice, would you do it? No. So even if it was going to happen, even if you did have to be anxious about something, why be anxious? Why not just suffer it one time, right? Why be worried about it and suffer then, and then suffer later when you go through it? It's a bit odd, right? It's a bit odd. And to leave you with, a bit of an existential type deal, I love these videos that I see of, or I guess it's really one I can think of, but it's from the movie Soul, and it's the guy when he says, what am I doing? I'm alive. And he's sitting at a desk typing things into a computer, and he just has this moment of, I'm alive. Why am I doing what I'm doing? And he just starts breaking everything, throwing everything off the desks, the computers, everything. And the caption on this video was POV. You realize you actually don't have anything to worry about, and that is the most powerful thing I can leave you with. Look, at the end of the day, we are all caught up in our own stories, our own realities, and that's fine. But I challenge you, look up at the moon, look up at the sun, humble yourself for a minute, right? Watch search up a video of zooming out of the universe, which starts from a woman, right? A woman laying on a green patch of grass, and it zooms out from her eye into the entire vastness of the universe, and tell me you have something to worry about. And now look, I'm not saying this to, yes, there are actually some things, I'm not saying this solves all of your problems, but it could be a perspective shift for a lot of people that they need to feel good. It makes me feel amazing, right? Anytime I think of something trivial or something like on average, like, oh, this happened, that happened, it really does humble me to just think about, like that video said, you realize there's nothing to worry about. What could there be to worry about? We are literally specks on specks floating with other specks. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm referring to us and the rocks. We're on the planet, right? Full of other planets. And it's just this crazy thing that it almost, every time I think about it, I say, wow, how did I ever get so caught up in whatever it is, right? It blows my mind. I'm like, wow, maybe my priorities aren't set straight, right? Because I think a lot of us, if we looked at that zoom out more often, our priorities would change. Would we still do the things that we do now if we realized we were these miraculous beings, right, that are in this insane miraculous experience, right? So yeah, I warned you I'd get existential on you there, but feel into that, right? You don't have anything to worry about because we're so small and insignificant, yet at the same time, we are miraculous and wonderful. I mean, wow, that just sounded, I don't know. I was gonna say wonderful, and then I was like, nah, and then I said it. So we are miraculous and wonderful. No, but seriously, right? It's that duality, I guess, is the right word, where I actually do believe both things at the same time. They sound like, no, that can't be true. You can't think we're meaningless specks, but we also have full meaning, and we have a purpose, and we're miraculous. I do, because it's a pretty good belief to have, right? I like it. So, I had to get existential on you there, but look, I hope we got rid of that anxiety. I hope we absolutely destroyed it. Just kidding. I hope we loved it. I hope we appreciated it. And then it drifted away. But let me know if this helped you in the comments down below. Let me know if you would want more of these kinds of videos. Let me know if you want it for really just anything else. If you're feeling a little sad, if you're feeling, I don't know if there's one I should do one for anger. I have no idea what I'm saying, but you know, for all the emotions really. But yeah, with that said, look, you're okay. You're fine. It's just me and you. We're just chilling. It's just an ASMR video. You're breathing. You're alive. You are here right now, which is crazy. What are the odds? What are the odds you're here on this YouTube video watching some dude in his blood-lit hell chamber whisper into a mic to calm you down, you know? Well, what are the odds? But it's all happening. And it's all happening for a reason as well, right? So just calm down, take a deep breath. Things have been worse, and you're still here, right? So I challenge you to come back to this video if you ever need it, and really try to listen to what I'm saying here, right? Really try to grasp the concepts, because I don't think you need much to really decrease this anxiety and remove it. I think it's just a perspective switch, right? And maybe something I said in here clicked with you, and you kind of felt, oh, that does feel good. And for me, it is that big existential one, right? Where you say, wow, we are so small, yet so meaningful at the same time. And it becomes this, wow, I feel good. I feel like I have a purpose, but I don't have any pressure, right? You get the best of both worlds. So, relax. You are fine. And if you need me, I'm in the comment section. I am on all of the previous videos on this channel that you can check out, and I will be uploading in the future, guys. So do not worry, do not fret. I'm here. So, with that being said, I want to thank you for all the love and support on the channel. I'm sending it all back your way to just you right now, only you. And with that said, thank you for watching, and I will catch you in the next